What is good, everyone? This is your host, Tarod McKnight, and you are now tuning in to the TARODCAST podcast. For all of our new listeners out there tuning in for the very first time, welcome. For all of our returning listeners coming back for another weekly dose of TARODCAST, welcome back. Now, as y'all already know, at TARODCAST, you can take everything we say with a grain of salt. We simply just want to add some flavor to your meal. So if we're doing that, then we are doing our job. I've got a very loaded episode for you guys today. It's very personal, one that I am able to talk about based on just experiences I've had with this particular topic, and I'm really excited to dig into this with you guys. So without further ado, let's introduce today's topic. Black card, high interest rate. This is TARODCAST. Let's get it. Alright, y'all. Again, welcome. I am Tarod McKnight, your host, and you are now tuning in to the TARODCAST podcast. So we've got a bit of housekeeping to do on episode 15. Yay, episode 15. We hit a little milestone. But as far as the housekeeping is concerned, got two things. First, if you are listening to this podcast, or you've even heard about this podcast and you want to take this podcast with you wherever you are on the go, just know that we are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, SoundCloud, Castbox, Podcast Addict, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. So if you use any of those mediums to get your podcast, just know you can find us there. You can search for us, subscribe, listen, however you'd like to engage with us, we are there. Also, I wanted to let all of my listeners know, and especially for our patrons who support TARODCAST on Patreon, this is also specifically for you as well. We have actually integrated a new feature to TARODCAST. So for right now, our patrons on Patreon, we have a new group chat feature for our show, and it was brought to us by Throne, which is a group chat application platform that's incredibly easy to use. And on Patreon, I made the announcement. I've actually got the rooms created. I've got a TARODCAST room, and I've also got a TARODCAST Under the Moon room as well. And so for my patrons who are currently supporting at the tier levels that allow for access to certain rooms, make sure to download that application and create your username and jump in. Let's have some conversations. This is where we will be able to talk about all of our podcast subjects, answer questions. I can hold polls, all that good stuff. So if you are a patron and you are listening to this, check the show notes. Also check the Patreon page for those posts as well, and sign up. And I'm also going to have a general community Throne chat for those who would just like to stop by as well. So that information is also going to be put in our show notes. So that way, if there's anybody who would like to ask us a question, it's just another form, another way of being able to reach out to us here at TARODCAST. So I just want to also make that available as well. So with that being said, I think that takes care of the housekeeping. So today's topic is black card high interest rate. Now, what is a black card? In the black community, your black card is the measure of your blackness. It is a colloquialism used mainly among black Americans to judge how black someone is, whether they are black or non-black. And so this has also branched out to other races and ethnicities as well. So it's not just used to measure the blackness of a black person, but if there is a white person, like say like a Justin Timberlake, somebody who has quote unquote flavor, you know, they have swag, you know, that type of thing, that is also used to measure that type of parameter that's looked at as blackness. Now, again, it is a figurative card that supposedly verifies just how quote unquote black a person can be, or how black a person can appear at any given time. And really anyone observed just possessing these types of characteristics, traits, linguistics, what else? Shoulder shimmies, you know, things like that. Anybody who isn't black but embodies things like this can be a recipient of a black card, if you understand what I'm saying. And I don't know, it's funny because the way that it works is it's not necessarily assigned, but it can be revoked. Oh, yeah, this card can literally be revoked at any time by anyone generally deemed or self-proclaimed more black than the person that whether they know or they don't know they have this black card. It can be revoked by the other person who deems themselves more black. And I just have to laugh at all this because all this is just so silly. But I wanted to talk about it. And so when it comes to the revocation of a black card, this typically happens if the person says or does something that's not culturally associated with being black. So I actually wrote down some examples here. So some examples are going on a general adventure, putting bills on auto pay, having an uneven hairline, enjoying music other than rap, R&B, jazz, and blues, seeing and loving women as actual and equal human beings, being nerdy, not having rhythm, speaking clearly with diction and enunciation, liking any video game genre over sports and first-person shooter games. Like for me, I love RPGs. I like stories, so that's not black. Being an atheist, performing cunnilingus, identifying as Republican, being submissive, things like this. Things like this are what the black community considers traits that are not black. And if they are typically known or made known to the black populace, it calls for immediate revocation of your black card. Because a lot of the stuff that I named is typically associated and called white people shit. So basically, the less stereotypical a black person is, the higher their chance of their blackness or their black card coming into question and interrogation by the general black populace. And so just think about that for a second. Just think about the fact that who you are is being judged by other people who look like you. Why is that even something that matters? You know, why is that something that matters? Because this type of thinking projects that black people are a monolith, and that the proverbial black card can be looked at as a symbol for how all black people should see themselves. So basically what this tells me is that every negative stereotype associated with black people, no matter how we want to try and spin it and own it, if it's a negative stereotype, it's still going to be a negative stereotype. So if I choose not to engage in that, then who I am as a person, my value, is cheapened because I don't subscribe to that. It's incredibly stupid. It is. It's incredibly stupid. But a lot of black people believe that there are certain things they can be and certain things that they can do. So this belief is very socioeconomic. It is one that is based on one's living situations, one's neighborhood circumstances. It comes from the pattern that you see day in and day out. And if you have no desire to break that pattern, then it becomes normal. It becomes routine. It becomes logical. There's no other reason to think outside of any of this. And so to think and be different is also to become unfamiliar and in turn become less black. Which is, that's crazy. It's crazy because we are thought to be people who do not possess the mental capability, the mental fortitude to be a successful people, to have our own, to uplift our own, to create our own. We are consistently thought of and also continuously prove to the world to be consumers. We are the people who we see something and we want it, we get it. The black dollar is what is one of the biggest driving forces in our economy to date. And to be a part of such a group of people that doesn't understand their inherent value because they choose to look at life in such a tunnel vision like way, and they look at themselves in such a tunnel vision, like stereotypical this way is the only way type way. It saddens me because is it not time for what's black to evolve past stereotypes? Like that for me, that is a legitimate question. You know, I was actually watching a short series on Amazon Prime, and it's called The New Nerd. And this show really spoke to me because it showcased black Americans, black people. It showcased them enjoying what they do. And what they do is not associated with a basketball or a football. It's not associated with degrading women or creating baby mamas and children that they don't take care of. It's not associated with Jordans, retros, or any type of shoe that stacks in somebody's room with boxes to the ceiling. It has nothing to do with that. The New Nerd focused on black people creating, black people being, black people doing, black people being involved with things that are bigger than what we like to value in the black community. Things that are reaching other people that do and don't look like them. And I saw a man who was drawing comic books. I saw a woman who is a cosplayer, and she cosplays characters that she loves. She makes costumes and goes to all these different places, and she does that. She loves it. I also saw a black comedian who was incredibly funny, and I also saw black people who work at companies like Nintendo and black game developers, and seeing these people, just knowing that they exist, it provided me with such a pride that for me nobody can take away, because I feel like for me this type of path, I am a nerd. I am not just a black nerd. I am a nerd who just so happens to be black. And I love what I love, you know? Like, one of the people that I saw on the show actually works for Niantic. And Niantic is the company, the tech company that created Pokemon Go, which is my favorite mobile phone game. I've been playing Pokemon since 1998. So to know that there is a senior level person who shares my skin tone, working at Niantic, working on the game that I play the most when I'm out and about here in the world, is amazing, you know? And she's a black woman. So it's like the mindset of what is black is changing, because now when it comes to stereotypes, those are going to be left where they lay. And we are now focusing and shifting towards becoming more than what society thinks we are. And I love that. I love that, because we are also evolving and embracing more alternative lifestyles that define us instead. And that's huge. We are now shifting into a paradigm where we have lifestyles that we can actually involve ourselves in and embrace and make part of our lives. And it doesn't have anything to do with anything that is stereotypically black, because now we're moving into an era where we see ourselves as people first. So with that being said, we're going to take a quick break, get some water. Got my water bottle right here. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about the Oreo effect, because, oh man, I'm not even going to say anything. We're going to take our break. Just know we're talking about Oreos when we come back. And yeah, go get hydrated. This is TARODCAST. We'll be right back. Yo, what's good, everyone? This is your host of TARODCAST, Tarod Rashan, and I just want to welcome you to the commercial break. Now, you already know what time it is. It's hydration time. Get some high-quality H2O in your system now. Got a few things I'd like to go over. First, to all of our new and returning listeners, thank you so much for your ear and your time. To all of our Patreon supporters, I just want you to know that we are not able to do this without your direct support. So the biggest, dopest TARODCAST thank you goes out to you. If you're listening in and you're thinking about becoming part of the TARODCAST Patreon family, we'd love to have you. You can find us at www.patreon.com/TARODCAST. Now on Patreon, we have 3 tiers of support: a $2 tier, a $3 tier, and lastly, a $6 tier. Each tier comes with its own set of unique perks. So if you find one that fits you, sign up. For us, the main thing is keeping our subscription prices affordable. We know that you work hard for your money, and if you choose to support TARODCAST this way, we truly want to make it worth your time. To find out more about our Patreon and the perks with each tier, visit www.patreon.com/TARODCAST. We've got it all laid out for you. Also, we've got a merchandise store. Pick up some tees, hoodies, leggings, and more at forevercertain.redbubble.com. All proceeds go right back into the TARODCAST podcast and allow us to keep making high quality content for people just like you. For our listeners out there who would like to support us in a non-monetary way, we'd love that too. Share our show with people you know. Also, share us on your social media. And if your favorite TARODCAST streaming service allows you to rate and review our show and you're loving what you're hearing, take some time and leave us a 5-star review. Ratings and reviews are what set us apart from other podcasts, and also helps us to recommend our podcast to other listeners we otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to reach. Lastly, if you'd like to reach out to us directly, email us at TARODCAST@CRTN-T.com. That's TARODCAST@CRTN-T.com. All of this information can always be found in our episode notes, so make sure to check there if you forget any of the information we just went over. Once again, thank you all so much, and let's get back to the program. Welcome back, y'all. I hope you all were able to get hydrated. And before we went on break, we talked about the next part of our show, which starts with the Oreo effect. Now, an Oreo. Okay, let me just go into this, basically. I'm just going to dive right in. If you, as a black person, do more white people shit than black people shit, you're called an Oreo because you're deemed vanilla on the inside. And funnily enough, non-black people with black cards are called reverse Oreos or Oreos, since there is supposed chocolate on the inside. They're black on the inside. Now, for me, I have been told countless times that I was an Oreo because I was a smart black kid who liked Pokemon. I couldn't dance. I didn't like fighting. I wasn't in the gang. So, yeah, I was always told I was an Oreo. I've also been called the whitest black person I know by white people, which is very interesting. Because, I don't know, just the simple fact that simply not confirming black stereotypes through my existence doesn't just make me a regular person. No, it makes me more like a white person. Now, that was something I never, ever understood, because I remember just hearing this. I'm just like, why are people saying I act more like a white person? There, you know, a black person's hood is a white person's trailer trash. So, you know, it's the same thing. Acting in a way that is outside of a black stereotype does not make me more of a white person. I don't even understand why that type of thing has to be associated with a specific type of person. Why can't I just be a person, you know? And when I heard things like that, that was what I thought about. It's just no, I just don't subscribe to the stereotypes. I'm just a regular person. I am a person who is black, first and foremost. And I don't know, it's many people, from what I realize, many people do not understand that we as people of color can exist in the gray area between everything. We choose how we want to be, and we choose how we want to act. For example, let's say I am learning Spanish and Portuguese, and I'm learning how to cook authentic Mexican food. It isn't making me act more like a Latinx person. It's not me trying to be more this way. No, I am simply a black man who is trying to learn another language and learn another culture and show appreciation for that. Because everything about me is still black, but just enjoying what I'm learning, appreciating and diving into what I'm learning is what's going to allow me to fully engage and to respect what I'm learning, to honor the culture. So I'd rather be somebody like that I'd rather be someone who dives in, and if I'm going to immerse myself into something new, I want to do it with excellence so that I honor that culture. I don't want to become the culture. I'm not trying to be like that culture. I'm not trying to turn myself into a Latinx person. No. But I want to at least pay homage and respect for the fact that I am taking a moment to learn from people who are pouring into me, so that way whenever I step out into the world on my own, I can take and use this part of this culture that I have learned and give it honor in my own way. And so ultimately I feel like there is no one way to be Black, as it ultimately depends on the person underneath the skin. However, there's also a group of folks out here who believe that Black people are the supreme beings whose mission is to replace the white male patriarchy with a Black male patriarchy. They're not going to say that last part. They want to overthrow white people, but they want to replace that with a Black male patriarchy. And I have come to learn that these are the Afrocentrists or Hoteps who extremely believe in all things pro-Black, but specifically only towards Black men. Now, a lot of these guys are typically portrayed, and there are memes galore out here, but they're typically portrayed wearing kufi caps, anks, symbols of Africa, whether it's on a necklace, on a hat, things like that, carrying ash, and yelling a lot while confusing this with speaking with authority. Umar Johnson is a good example. They are typically anti-women and especially anti-Black women. Also anti-LGBTQIA and anti-alternative lifestyles. They also call Black women queens, but still police them, slander them, and try to regulate what's acceptable for them from a supposed position of power over them. And also, to these super Black folks, being anything less than a king or queen in their eyes is a complete shame and dishonor to your skin color and heritage. These are also the types of people I have seen who judge whether or not someone is awakened, or as we like to call now, woke. And for people like that who they deem in their minds as someone who is not awakened or woke yet, they backhandedly compliment these people regularly. And it's done so in a way where it's like, yeah, what you heard could be looked at as both an insult and a compliment. You know, it's interesting how even these people who believe that they are Black, y'all, and I'm Black, y'all, and I'm blacker than Black, and I'm Black, y'all. Yeah, I stole that from CB4. People who believe that they embody this ultimate Blackness are also judging how Black a person is or isn't based on what they are learning or what they have experienced. And so it goes so many different ways, from the low end of the spectrum to the lower end of the spectrum. There is judgment being placed on Black people regarding how black they need to be in order to be accepted. But why is it that one's blackness needs to be judged in order to have acceptance? Where does that come from? Because I feel like people who judge based on stereotypes and people who judge based off of being hoteps are both trash people. They're both trash people to me. And I don't take their word as law. I don't value what they have to say, because if who they are is not the kind of person that wants to see and wants to understand that black people are not a monolith, that black people are not this collective group of people with their head down. Now, the majority, the masses of people, and this is just people in general, the masses of people are like that. But there are millions of black people who are not like that. They don't move with their heads down. They're always looking for something new. They're always looking for something else to learn. They always want to propel themselves and strive for excellence. So I know that people like that is who I desire to be around. So when it comes to other people who feel like it is their duty to judge how someone's life is either black or not black enough, is absurd. So we're going to take another quick break, and after the break, we're going to get into my black card. Yeah, I know I said a little bit about it before, but I want to dig a little bit deeper into that. So we're going to take our last break of the show, and then we're going to dive in to my black card. This is TARODCAST. We'll be right back. Yo, we are back. We are back from our break, and now we are going to finish the episode. We're going to get into the tail end of it and talk about my black card, because I have to do it. I have to talk about it. I have to let you know what this means for me in my personal life. So we are going to go ahead and turn off the music and get back into the episode. So, my black card, Tarod Rashan's black card. Now, when it comes to my card, I personally do not like to think that I actually have one, nor do I like to kid myself into thinking that I want one, because for me, who I am is not designed to be categorized by a specific set of characteristics deemed black or non-black, because for my peace of mind, I don't require anyone of black or non-black pigmentation to tell me who I am based on what they believe that they see. For me, I believe I am just as powerful as anyone who has ever succeeded, whether they look like me or don't look like me. There is no difference in who you are. Basically, being a person, being someone who can summon the energy and the drive to make something from nothing is who I look up to. It's who I compare myself to. For me, I understand that my interests are my interests. I love what I love, and I love who I love. And the way that I love does not come from a place that seeks to try and diagnose someone as being worthy of a certain type of love or not. Because when you get to a point like that, when you start to, and again, this is just for me, when you start to try and figure out who deserves love based on how they appear, how they interact with you, at that point, is your love even worth anything? Is your time and energy even worth anything? Because I don't judge people based on how black I think they should be. Who has time? I don't have time. I'd rather a person just show me who they are. If we mesh well, we mesh well. If not, then we don't. But I am not going to put a standard or set a bar of blackness that anybody needs to reach in order to earn my respect or to earn my love. That's stupid. It's incredibly stupid. You know, I believe that being black in America, it also, it doesn't have to be specifically defined by the culture found in the ghetto or the hood or whichever poverty-stricken socioeconomic level it stems from. It doesn't, because I honestly believe that being black is simply to be while black. It's the freedom. It's the freedom to just be. And if we have that freedom to just be, we open ourselves up to new experiences and people that will enrich our lives and give us more perspective. I also believe that a limited perspective on what it means to be black in America is what gave birth to the black card in general. But the good thing is that mindsets are beginning to change, and we are moving away from the monolithic belief systems associated with black people. And that in and of itself is something to look forward to. I feel like more black people are coming to the forefront and expressing themselves in ways that many black people do not understand. But you know what? It's okay that they don't understand, because they are coming from a slice of life that is foreign to them. And it helps to build on the notion of diversity within our own culture. Because knowing that someone who looks just like you but is interested in different things, shouldn't that inspire conversation as opposed to judgment? Shouldn't that inspire someone to learn what makes you who you are, so that I may be educated, so that I may be made more aware? That should be the mindset, and it's getting there. it is getting there, because the more that we as alternative Black people take time to do what we do with excellence, there is no doubt in my mind that what we do and how we do it will be catapulted into the eyes of our entire world. And when that happens, we will have a spotlight that showcases the beautiful things that we create, the beautiful things that we are able to put out into this world, the beautiful people that we are in all of our shades. And so, realizing that we are moving towards an era where Blackness is not something that is defined by stereotypes. That is the era that is going to see more people come to the forefront and express themselves in ways that will slowly but surely become more understood and accepted. And I can't wait for that. I cannot wait for that to happen. It's going to be awesome. That's why I look at things like Afropunk, you know? I cannot wait to attend Afropunk. Probably not right now because coronavirus is out there everywhere, but soon I want to attend Afropunk. I want to even attend BlurredCon. You know, I want to engage in these different types of things where beautiful people who look like me can just express themselves and show love to one another. And that is exactly what we need. So with that being said, for those of you who still think about the notion, the thought, the implementation of a black card, I hope that this conversation has shown you that it is irrelevant when it comes to thinking about who we are as people. A black card will not allow someone to elevate. It will not allow them to discover new things. It traps them. It keeps them in this circle of upholding things that make stereotypical black people comfortable. But you know what? Destroying that comfort is what truly needs to happen. Obliterating that comfort is what needs to happen. Because why can't we go on adventures? Why can't we play other video games? What's the harm in actually loving women as equal human beings? What's the harm of being a nerd? What's the harm of not having rhythm? Why is it bad to be and to possess these types of traits and characteristics? You know what? It's not bad. It's just that the people who think that it's bad, they're the ones who are misinformed. And their opinion does not matter. It doesn't. So don't let somebody revoking your black card make you feel like you are less of a person. You are more of a person than somebody revoking some imaginary piece of plastic that values and determines how black you're supposed to be. You are worth way more than that. So with that being said, I just want to thank you for listening to our show today. You all know where to find us. You all know how to support us. And if you can, make sure to leave us a 5-star review. As always, I encourage you to be more introspective and vulnerable with yourself. Know who you are and love who you are. You are valued at TARODCAST. You are wonderful. And I want you to make every effort to find and keep your peace. I'm out, y'all. Till next time.